Hello and welcome to the Third and Long podcast. Now, for some reason, Ollie and Shane have decided to give the two Niners fans their own podcast after an interesting performance last night.
Niners
So,
night, baby! Woo!
I think we'll get to that a bit later. But Phil, how are you?
I'm really good. I mean, I know we'll get into like the meat and gravy of it a little bit later, but another enjoyable weekend of NFL games. I mean, I know we hyped it up on Thursday. I was blown away with the Bills and the Dolphins game. I can't even remember who I picked on Thursday night, but I absolutely love that game. I love the outcome of the Ravens and the Patriots game. I mean, it was just across the board. It only seemed to be the games that were in prime time, like Tampa Bay and the Tampa Bay and Green Bay and us and the Broncos, that seemed to not deliver this weekend in terms of exciting action.
But before we get into the games, I think there's a bit of big news that we have to discuss.
Go on, Ali.
And that's that the NFL is changing the Pro Bowl. It will now be a week-long event with a series of challenges, both NFL and not NFL based, and then a flag football game. What were your thoughts on this? Because I know the game is basically already a touch football game with, not hitting the quarterback, touch tackling at best. And to be honest, for me, the skill showdown has always been a lot more enjoyable than the game anyway. So I'm not mad about this.
I mean, I look at it from like lots of different perspectives because the Pro Bowl, like when it's the Super Bowl or when it's the draft week or anything like that, does seem to be like a week-long event anyway. But I also look at it, and this is just like my media background anyway. You look at it from like a TV ratings point of view, and if you look at the ratings from the last couple of years, the rating for the Pro Bowl is massively declining, and they've tried to like shift it up a little bit when they had like was it when they had Team Dion against Team I can't remember, when it was like the two Hall of Famers that would have their teams against each other, and they'd be the coaches for the respective AFC and NFC sides.
Yes.
And that didn't seem to, catch on, and it just seems to be declining. And I much preferred. Hey Shano, I
Hey
think
Shane, we hope you
skills
guys.
set where we see a little bit more personality from like the players in a non-competitive way, but they're still getting massively involved. And the Pro Bowl is essentially a glorified tag game anyway. So the fact that they're just going to play tag ball makes perfect sense, considering that you'd expect a lot of those to be playing in an actual important game the week after. So yes, it's a knock-on tradition, but they kind of need to jazz it up. They do need to jazz it up, and it's not going to bother me. I don't think it's going to bother any NFL fan, to be honest.
Yeah, I've always found the skill showdown with the catches, the race, the dodgeball. I've always found that more enjoyable than the game itself. So
Yeah,
if there's
so
just gonna be
you discover like more personality about like certain players that you watch someone game day on a weekend properly in the zone, but then you see them in a more of like a jokey kind of like atmosphere. They just seem a lot more personable, and I think that is the kind of aspect of the game that I like to see, other than the game itself.
yes. I'm not sure if you did you see last year Juszczyk and Kittle FaceTiming Mike McDaniels on the sideline of the game.
No.
Oh, that last year, in the middle of the Pro Bowl, Kittle FaceTime Mike McDaniels.
Yeah. Oh, see, I wish you hadn't said that to me, because I really miss Mike McDaniels, because he's so good. He's so good.
I just remember Juice being like, "Did you see me? I scored." And Mike McDaniels like, "Yes, I know. I'm watching."
It's quite. I mean, personality-wise, Juice and Kittle, I mean, they're made for this kind of like atmosphere, like the TV kind of like skill set banter. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Kittle gets his own like game show or reality TV show or something of the sort, or becomes a presenter like Pat McCaffrey at some point in his future. He's just kind of just such a fun-loving character.
Bit of a preview for Thursday, but Juice is my catch of the week.
Okay. All right, he's not mine, but I will go on Thursday about what I think.
Well, so somebody needs to pick Pickens. So
mine's not.
Yeah, I think Shane's claim Pickens.
I'm literally going for Devontae Smith's catch into the red zone, and then catch for the touchdown the next play.
Which one?
Or both, because both of them were great catches. That's the thing.
I think
Like,
I think I think somebody in Boston wants one of those.
what? I said it at the time when we were like messaging each other. His catch to get into first in goal, amazing, and then literally the next play after, he catches an amazing catch as well. So it's like boom, boom. So if I was going to say one, his initial catch to get it first in goal.
Yeah, I think that's already been taken.
Oh no, he's not even here. Like, he's not even here. He has no right. He has no right to say which one he wants. Sorry, Ollie Bear, but no. He's too busy off in Boston, sulking over Lamar absolutely running a wild one on him.
Yeah, well, he's in the airport at the moment. He's about to fly back.
Well, he's not going to be here anyway.
Anyway,
Right.
shall we move on to the games?
Yes, please.
And we talked about Thursday night on Thursday's show, where we previewed it, and I think we all picked the Steelers.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
And now the Browns one.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned on Thursday's show, I don't think there's a side that's not in the NFC West that I hate more than the Cleveland Browns this year. I mean, I'm not particularly fond of the Steelers because of how they defended allegations against a former quarterback, but they did look good. And this is a Deshaun Watson-less team that looked good. I mean, you got like you got Chubb, who's absolutely phenomenal, and he's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm just getting their stats up as well. And you've got Hunt, and then Brissett's playing ridiculously well. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he went. What's the stats that he got? He went 21 for 31 attempts. So he's playing well enough to keep himself in contention.
Yes.
And if he keeps this up, I mean, they're 2-1 now, the Browns, and I thought they would go 0-3. If he keeps this up and they're doing really well, if you're calling the shots, do you keep Brissett the hot hand, or you do throw Watson in, who you just invested a lot of money into? Because he's been almost faultless in the last 3 games. He hasn't really let them down.
Yes.
Pains for me to say it.
Do you know the only person that I think has been better?
Go on.
I think Nick Chubb, at the moment, is probably in the MVP conversation.
Yeah. I mean, he did again, I've got his stats up. 113 yards, 1 touchdown, his longest was 36 from 23 attempts. I mean, yeah, his goal line, his goal line penetration is absolutely phenomenal. Like, he really, really was. His movement's brilliant. He can run inside, he can run outside. And he's part of the engine. He's part of the engine that's keeping this offense going.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the best 1-2 punch with Kareem Hunt behind him, and Amari Cooper's a very good wide receiver.
I've always rated Cooper. One of my mates that I'm going to reference a little bit later on. Yeah, I'd keep Brissett. Don't change it. Absolutely, you don't. You don't change the hot hand, regardless of how much you've invested into happy endings. You don't. You really, really don't. I've always rated Cooper, and again, a mate of mine that I'm going to reference a little bit later. He loved him because he was a Vegas he was an Oakland Raiders fan, and he absolutely rated Cooper. He was one of the best receivers that he'd seen in his lifetime there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't watch it live, but I watched the game in 40 of that game, and I enjoyed it. Although I would have loved to see the Steelers beat the Browns.
It's hard to get excited about the Steelers, but then you've got, I mean, Trubisky, he went 32 attempts, 20 completed, 62% pass. I mean, he passed for further for 207 yards, but got no touchdowns at all.
It's got to be Kenny P time.
I mean, Steelers are 1-2. Trubisky hasn't been amazing, but he hasn't been Jimmy Garoppolo. So
Trubisky has done exactly what I expected him to do.
Yeah, very mid. Like, no expectations. His ceiling's already been reached a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he is just a bridging quarterback to whatever they do with Kenny. But Is it time for him yet?
I don't,
Maybe
I don't,
by
I
the bye week.
don't, I don't see the downside of playing Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I mean, do you realistically expect the Steelers to make playoffs this year with their current lineup? They have not got Watt for quite some time. They're rebuilt. They're going into a bit of a rebuilding, but that expectation that Pittsburgh will hit the playoffs is always there because they're one of the big sides, one of the big names. I don't see them. If they hit the playoffs, it's a wild card position at best, and they'd be one and done.
Yes,
Yes, John. I mean, he is their pass rush. Like, I mean, that was evident from watching the game. He is their pass rush, and without Watt, their defense is non-existent. I mean, they let the Browns put up 29 points. I don't see that happening if Watt's there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Steelers sort out their quarterback situation, they do have a chance of making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the same way of the 49ers, their biggest question mark at the moment is the quarterback position.
Yeah, and that's a recurring theme. Like you take the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bucks, the Packers, the Bills, hell, even the Dolphins. That is a question across the rest of the NFL. The Lions, not the Lions, the Rams. That is a question across the whole of the NFL about their quarterbacks because there's not many standout kind of quarterbacks, and Trubisky is not a standout. He's not long term. I don't know whether or not the time is now to pull the trigger on Kenny.
I think it must be. Start his development process.
Well, if they lose the next game, who's the next game against? I mean, you can tell I'm not a massive Steelers fan because I don't know who they're playing next. But if I just look up their opponents for this upcoming week,
I'm on it now.
I mean, they play. Oh, is it their bye? No, it's not their bye week already.
No,
is it?
it won't be their bye. The Steelers are playing
The Jets. The Jets. All right, if they go 1-3, I'd say they might pull the trigger, but we'll see how they deal with the Jets because the Jets are wildly, weirdly, inconsistently weird.
Yes.
Even when they lose, they don't play poorly at the moment. I mean, Salah has something going on with them.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the game that literally nobody cares about?
Or is that the Texans and the Bears?
The Texans versus the Bears. The only
don't even think Bears fans cared. Like, I mean, every time they kept cutting to red zone, I mean, it's two bad teams. I mean, yeah, the Bears have a current winning record, but do I think the Bears will finish the season with a winning record? No. 100%. I'd be surprised if they get to 5 wins this year.
Fields literally isn't throwing the ball at all, and now they've lost David Montgomery.
Yeah. And, I mean, their defense is not that amazing. I mean, I don't even dislike Justin Fields. I just don't think they're all there yet.
No, they don't have... They're missing one thing.
Go on.
A wide receiver that can catch.
Yeah. Someone to catch Justin Fields' plays.
Yeah.
But it was
another... As Giselle once famously said, a quarterback can't throw and catch the ball.
It's true. It's absolutely true. With going back on it, I mean, the revenge tour was at another loss this week because Lovie Smith lost against the Bears.
Yes.
Didn't they fire him with a winning record?
Yes.
I mean, that would have been perfect revenge, but the Texans aren't there. I mean, I quite like Mills. Not Mills, sorry. Is it
Mills?
David? Mills, yeah.
Davis Mills.
Yeah. I quite like him. I like where they're getting to. I think what's his name will be Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, running back.
Pierce.
Pierce. But yeah, I mean, it was a nothing game. No one was really not even people in Houston were that bothered.
Yes, John. I think Fields did have a decent game, but he needs to be more than decent to pull a poor Bears roster to a decent game.
I mean,
Now,
right,
actually, John, as we're talking to you, shall we move on to the Raiders?
I mean, go on. You say your bit on it because I'm just going to repeat what I was texting you guys on Sunday about the Raiders.
I feel like we gave them the kiss of death again by all predicting the Raiders were going to win, which we've done for the last 2 weeks in a row.
Now, I was watched. I mean, they cut to the Raiders game quite a lot, especially in the fourth quarter, and it took It took 8 attempts for Derek Carr to score that one touchdown because they had a reset of downs. And then when he went for 2, I said to Gemma, I was like, it took him 8 attempts to get 1 touchdown. He's not going to get a 2-point conversion on the next one. And lo and behold, he didn't. I think, honestly, Carr is not very good. I said it.
Yeah. John, we're going to have to sit here and talk about the Niners in a minute. So we're not skipping the Raiders.
Yeah. Honestly, Carr, not good. Like, watching him, he's either looking at Adams or he's not looking at all. And he's just throwing or missing or throwing out of bounds, or he's trying to make it himself. He is not focused. Like, he doesn't go through his he doesn't go through his movements. It's literally, is he open? No. Oh crap, what do I do? And you can see him doing it on the sideline. He's so desperate to get it to him that when he can't, he doesn't know what he's doing. And that's a shame because they rate him up until this year.
John just said that exactly. That's exactly what I wrote on a fan page, so he agrees with you.
I'm not even a Raiders. Like, the thing is, John, I mean, like a lot of 49ers fans, I don't know if Ollie's the same, but I'm just going to vouch for it myself. My dad supports the Raiders. I have my own Raiders jersey as well. And I really like the Raiders. I think, they're one of the most amazing fan bases in the NFL. It's just happened to be that they haven't been relevant since 1983. Like, they haven't been that successful since 1983. And just to watch like Carr just absolutely just blow up in his face. And I think after the season, that's Josh McDaniels' career done as a head coach. I mean, he's proving again he can't get it done.
As the only team that own 3 in the NFL, I think Josh McDaniels days. I'd be surprised if Josh McDaniel makes it to the end of the season.
I mean, in the Davis fashion, he will make it to the end of the season. And he will either be sacked this offseason or he'll be given one more year. But they spent so much money on all the players that he wanted. I mean, yes, Carr managed to get in Adams, but this is very much the team. Like, when we go to Mike McDaniels later, he identified the players that he wanted that to fit the scheme that he wanted to run in Miami. He got the players, and he's running the scheme that he wants to in Miami. Josh had the exact same opportunity in Vegas. I mean, say what you want about Mike Davis. What's his name? Oh, what's his son? What's Davis's name?
It was our Davis. Now, isn't it Mike Davis?
Mike Davis. John, is it Mike Davis without me looking up on Wikipedia?
Or am I thinking of Mike Mayock?
No, it's definitely Davis because they've run the
but I think Mayock's the GM. But by the way, John, if you do finish 14-3, I will drink a bottle of ketchup live on air.
I mean, I said at the beginning of the season, John, that you'd make it to the AFC Championships. I want the Raiders to do well. I would love a Super Bowl of the black and silver of the Raiders to go up against the red and gold of San Francisco.
I mean, they're already doing that on New Year's Day.
I know, but as a Super Bowl, that's exactly what I want to see.
It is Mark, yes.
Yeah,
Mark,
so,
yes.
I mean, say what you want about the Raiders, and sometimes it's not always great, but the Davises have always spent money. Like, they've always backed their coaches. They have. Whether in the draft or in free agency, they back. So he's not stingy. He's not like a Jed York where he won't spend any money whatsoever. I mean, so they've invested in what he wants. And now if it's not paying off, that's on the coaching. Like, it is. It massively is.
I mean, Josh McDaniels didn't work in Denver, so I never thought he was going to work in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't work under, who did he have? Did he have Peyton? Did he coach Peyton?
No, I think it was just after Peyton, wasn't it?
Was it like Brock Osweiler?
Yeah, I think he was the one that gave Brock Osweiler that massive contract.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
I think
it's
he
the same
was the one that
people.
gave.
I mean, like, it's ridiculous. But
But,
yeah,
what was it? What was it? Like 4 years, 84 million?
yeah, it was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous for a lad that never even played a full season. Like, it's terrifying. It's almost like a certain John Lynch doing the exact same thing for Jimmy Garoppolo. Who still has a job, by the way. No, if I was a Raiders fan, I'd genuinely really, really, really concerned because they look apathetic. They are lacking when their roster is stacked. I mean, I was mentioning to you guys the other night, like the AFC West. Maybe we might have overhyped it because it's not delivering.
Yeah. I do agree with you, John. I do think your biggest issue is secondary defense.
Do you still have Nate Hobbs?
But yeah, you're right. The Chiefs have looked good, but I don't know what happened to them this weekend.
I loved it, man. I loved it. It's brilliant.
The Broncos have been poor, but are somehow
Yeah.
2-1. The
And
Raiders are
Chargers.
the only team that are 0-3, and the Chargers are just banged up even
Yeah.
more now, but we'll move on to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's actually give some love to the Titans because Derek Henry had a game.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tannehill did not look as bad as he has in previous weeks. But the Titans were the number one seed in the AFC last year, and they went one and done. They have
Yes.
started the season being really, really poor, with the exception of playing a very, very poor winless Raiders. Yes, well done on beating a poor side who are epically poor on many, many, many levels. But it was still a close game in the grand scheme of things. I don't know. Yes, well done, Titans, for getting a win.
Yes, we need to give Derek Henry had a good game. And
He did.
And the Titans D showed up when they needed to. Just.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Yes. I will be pleasant. Well done.
Now as we're talking about AFC South teams, let's move on to Indianapolis.
Yes, Indy. I loved it, man. I love it anytime that Kansas City lose because I just love to see Mahomes' face just melt. Did you see at halftime where
him and BME having a argument?
Because he didn't want it. Well, he wanted to go for it. And he was like, "No, we'll get the ball back second half." I sensed then massive friction because, like, even the fact that when Andy Reid had to pull Mahomes away, I'm going, "Ooh, I wonder what was going to be said at halftime." But Matt Ryan looked good. I mean, it's took him week 3, but he looked good.
I mean, that interception at the end cost me a fantasy game, but we'll move on.
Just a big shout out to John. Yes, I love seeing Kansas City lose. I hate them.
I actually quite like Kansas City, but I can see why you don't like them, John, being a division rival.
And can you not see why every 49er fan would hate them for multiple reasons?
2019 Super Bowl.
Oh, I was also thinking about the fact that they ruined Joe Montana's career.
Yeah. Hi, Oli. Try commenting from your own account rather than the podcast account.
Otherwise, it looks like we've been hacked.
Yes. But the Chiefs were poor. They were poor.
Yeah.
And you're right. Matt Ryan looked good. The Indy defense, they showed up, and I mean, they were just sloppy plays from the Chiefs. Like the first, like that fumble by the end zone, the interception from Mahomes. It was just sloppy plays that the Chiefs don't usually make.
Yes, and whether or not that is, I mean, they started the season not being great last year. They haven't hit the ground running this year, so maybe that's just like a recurring theme with this Chiefs organization where they just start slow and then build up to a playoff run.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I would. I think that's potentially how it's going to go this year. But I mean, they're still strong. They're still an amazing side.
Yeah, I still think they'll finish top of the AFC West.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, looking at the rest of that division, yeah. I know.
I mean, it's weird. Somebody from the strongest division of football lost to somebody in fact, two teams from the strongest division in football lost to two teams in the weakest division of football,
Yeah.
being the AFC West and the AFC South, respectively.
So maybe the AFC isn't as dominant as we thought it would be this year.
So you think that winning drive for the Colts was exactly what KC needed? What, to like kick him into life, or just
What,
to bring
humbling them? I mean, I don't know if I was going to say to spur them on for the next couple of weeks, or is this like to full on humble them? Because if it's humbling, I'm all with you.
Now, Phil, I know you want to talk about this one. So, okay, so John says humbling them.
Yeah, I love a humble. I do, man.
Right. I'm just going to let you take the lead on this one, Phil. Bills Dolphins.
Oh man. Oh. All right. So Mike McDaniels, I'm guessing, was the mastermind of the 49ers offense for the last couple of years, because he is exactly like a young, head coach coming into a position, being promoted the right way, going up from like QB to offensive coordinator to head coach. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought Tua came out completely. It was another great showing from him. Even when he got even the concussion, which I'm genuinely surprised he came back, and I'm sure that will be looked into.
It is being looked into by the NFLPA.
And you're absolutely right, but I'm also doing air quotes for those who can't see the video. It will be looked into, but I don't think anything will come of it. I don't. But again, the Bills didn't play poorly. Like they played their game. No. If anything, the Miami defense massively stifled Josh Allen, because Josh Allen was vexed multiple times throughout the game where, I mean, he took his helmet off, he got into altercations with the Dolphins players, and even at the end, he is a sore loser, which is good, because I think that's the right spirit to have as we come on to a little bit later. When you do lose a game that you probably shouldn't have, and you show actual emotion and anger instead of high-fiving the opposition.
Are you just taking a pop at a certain Niners quarterback that wears 10?
Any opportunity for all the games, I've got little zingers that I'm just going to put in just to like twist the screw a little bit more onto Jimmy, not so Jesus. But honestly, Miami looked legit. Miami looked
good. I mean, every week, Tua's looking like he has more of a connection with Tyreek Hill. He's already got that connection with Jalen Waddle. Edmonds and Mostert look good. And the Miami defense looked good. Xavier Howard locked up Stephon Diggs.
I mean, they just look such a complete side.
Yes.
And, the coaches, again, Mike McDaniel's going into Miami, and regardless of the circumstance, whether or not they wanted Sean Payton, they wanted to bring in Tom Brady, all the crap that comes with it. But I mean, yeah, absolutely, Johnny. It was a fantastic spectacle. Bills, Dolphins. Hell, if that's the AFC Championship game, that is one hell of a game for.
And we had the first ever butt punt.
Oh, I forgot about that as well. I shouldn't have. If they would have lost that game, so much more would have been made of it. Yeah, like the butt punt would have gone down worse than the butt fumble. You know what I'm saying?
Butt fumble, helmet catch, and now a butt punt.
But I mean, Mike McDaniel's had a game plan. He had his game book for what he wanted to bring to Miami. The ownership there, it spent the money, it made the trades, he brought in the personnel that he needed, and you're reaping rewards. This is what a competent coach looks like. Now, if the Dolphins can continue this form and get like a playoff berth, I mean, that's huge. That's actually really huge for Miami, and it's really exciting.
Have you seen Ken Dorsey's reaction to the Bills losing up in the coach's box?
Yes! Oh, I had that as well as a gift, because I was sending around to like another WhatsApp group of mine when he full on loses it. And he smashes the camera, or someone turns the camera off that you can't quite see. You can't see whether like he hits it or someone turns it off for him. Because they showed that on Red Zone, and then they apologized for it. I was going, ooh. But again, another example of showing genuine anger at losing a game that you probably shouldn't have lost. So I can accept having a tantrum, losing that closely in the fashion that they did. I'm massively happy for Miami, but I can sympathize with Buffalo because they are a super team.
Now, on to another divisional game. One of the teams that we're seeing next week in London. So the Vikings Lions. This was a great game. It sort of flew under the radar, but it was a
Yeah.
great game.
Yes. I mean, Cousins had to play better than he did on Monday night. I mean, he did.
Yes.
He had
Yeah,
to
but
play better.
Cousins has some sort of mental block about Monday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, we can talk about like his mental block, but he was poor with God. Like, yeah, he doesn't win on Mondays, but the fact is, he's a professional quarterback. He's one of only 32 people in the world that play at that high elite game. So yeah, he's not. It's not all on him, but he was bad on Monday night. And I again felt really bad for Detroit. I mean, they almost like the little engine that could. Like they actually feel like the little engine they could. They try. They create an insane lead. And in the first half of many games, they're shutting out teams, they're shutting out offenses. Hutchinson looks like an absolute beast. And then second half, they just invite pressure. And that's a shame. But I don't know whether or not it's just out of being absolutely knackered, because it was just an absolute spectacle. Jared Goff played really well.
Amon St. Brown is looking to be. He could be. I'm not sure if there is breakout player of the year. That I know it's not an award, but we all named one at the start of the season. I don't think anyone named St. Brown.
No, absolutely not. We did. He massively flew under our radar. Is he his second year?
Second year.
Second year. So I mean, he's acclimatized really well in a
I
side
mean,
in a Lions side that doesn't really have a pass heavy
Yeah.
game, and yet he's making the most of it.
I'm going to claim this now, and Ollie can actually attest this. I watched USC's Pro Day,
Yeah.
and I said to Ollie and Tom at the time, who was our other host, this Amon St. Brown kid looks good.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would be this good, but he looked good in his Pro Day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they look really good. And it's yeah. I'm happy. I mean, they're two sides that I have a Vikings jersey and I have a Lions jersey, so I quite like both teams.
Just while we're talking about college, did anyone watch the Clemson Wake Forest game on Saturday?
No, I was out on Saturday, so I missed all of the games because I missed the West Virginia game as well.
Yeah, but did you see the Clemson Wake Forest score?
No, was it?
Clemson beat Wake Forest 51-45 and it went to double overtime.
Jesus Christ, 51-45.
And it went to double overtime.
I need to watch the highlights of that game. No, I'm normally Saturday's like my college day when I will just watch BT Sports.
Yeah, it was on BT Sport too, and I watched it all.
I'm going to see if I can catch the highlights from that. That'd be quite good to watch.
And I watched DJ Uptang Lele, and I was more impressed by the Wake Forest quarterback.
Yeah.
Anyway, back onto NFL. I just thought I'd throw that in there because
No, thank you.
It was an incredible game. Where were we? Vikings. Kirk Cousins played well. KJ Osborne played well. Dalvin Cook.
It was nice to see Thielen play well as well.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook got injured.
Yeah,
which could be a massive miss for them. Yeah, you're right, John. It probably will be a lot of highlights to watch. It was a hell of a game. But yeah, if Dalvin Cook's out for a while, that could be a big loss for the
Vikings. Yeah,
the Vikings and my dad's fantasy team. But
ooh, okay, right, and we'll talk about this on Thursday then when we look for the previews for the weekends, because
yes,
I didn't see into that.
I mean, I hope Dalvin Cook's back because I'd quite like to see him play again. Because I saw actually he got injured against the Niners, and that's bring the carton and stuff. Luckily, he was okay though.
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll be back, and hopefully we'll be able to see him in London.
Okay, right. Well, best of luck for him if he can get back for you.
Moving on to a game where I wish either Shane or Ollie was on.
Ooh, I mean, they'll be both back on Thursday. We will, assuming, because Shano is currently feeling a little bit under the weather, and Ollie is about to completely change his body clock as he comes over back to normal time.
Ollie is currently in Boston Airport.
Oh my god!
I spoke to Oli last night.
Yeah, because he was at the game.
Yes, Oli was at the game, and he enjoyed the game, just not the results.
Yes, I mean, like he was. For our listeners who don't follow us on our Facebook page or our Twitter page, Ali had the opportunity to snap a couple of pictures of himself with a couple of players.
Matt Judon.
Sorry.
Matt Judon.
Yeah,
was the big one. His favorite player.
Exactly. I mean, that'd be the equivalent to us like getting a snap with like Kittle or Bosa or
Lance.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be all over Trey Lance. No, George Kittle would be my bucket list out of that current.
Or the person that showed up at the Niners game I was at, Jerry Rice.
Oh my god! You know what? I'd actually sell the right to naming my firstborn to spend a little bit of time with Steve Young.
Yeah, Jerry Rice and Steve Young were at the game.
You know, I've always wanted to ask. Like, I've never seen an interview where Jerry Rice is legitimately asked who he preferred to play under, Montana or Rice. I've never seen that question asked because, I mean, he had a great career with Montana, and then that 93, 94 season, he had insane numbers with Steve Young. So, yeah, if any of our listeners has the opportunity to talk to Jerry Rice, or even if Jerry Rice or Jerry Rice Jr. is listening to our pod right now, just ask your dad, like Joe or Steve. Let us know.
Jerry Rice Jr. actually tweeted saying the Niners will be fine this season. It's been a hard start, but it's a long season.
Yes, but then he also, before that, tweeted about how he couldn't believe that a experienced 30-year-old quarterback would make such a faux pas throughout the game.
We'll get onto that. We need to.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to our
the Ravens. We need to move on to the Ravens Patriots.
Lamar was absolutely unplayable again. Staking his claim for MVP.
Mark Andrews too, 2 touchdowns.
Yep, absolutely. Any news on Mac?
High ankle sprain.
Okay, is he likely to miss a few weeks?
Yes, he'll miss a few weeks.
Okay, so is Hoyer their backup?
I don't think Hoyer plays anymore.
But he's definitely like, is he? Hold on.
I want to say Stidham, but he got traded to the Raiders.
In New England Patriots. Let's have a look at their roster.
Do you have their depth chart up? Because I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get their depth chart up very quickly.
Oli, are you watching?
Oli, who's your backup quarterback, mate? Not that it tends to matter.
But yeah,
because you're all schemes anyway. You don't actually have any individual players on your roster.
I mean, Devontae Parker had a hell of a game for New England.
No, it's Brian Hoyer. Yeah,
you got Brian Hoyer, is it?
Yeah, you got Brian Hoyer and Bailey Zappi.
Oh yeah, Zappi, the rookie.
I mean, Hoyer's only 36, man. Like, I thought he was a lot older. Like,
yeah. I mean, Parker looked good for the Patriots. Both of the running backs, Stevenson and Harris, looked good for the Patriots. But Mac just kept on making mistakes in the key drives.
Yeah. I mean,
I was cheering on New England like nobody's business.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't Shane, just to let you know. I'm not taking sides, but I wasn't.
Mac kept on making mistakes and throwing interceptions in the key drives.
Yeah, I mean,
I was paying Oli back because it was me versus Tom last year, and I know he was cheering for the 49ers because I was there.
I mean, I've never seen it with Mac. Like on his pro days when he got drafted by the New England Patriots, I didn't see it. And I didn't really see it last year, and so I don't get the whole hype around him. To me, he feels like another Trubisky. He doesn't seem like he will win you a game, but I don't know whether or not that's the New England scheme where he's not really individual and he's still getting acclimatized. Because I mean, the early years of Tom Brady they won championships, but it wasn't like easy breezy. Like he made big mistakes in big games. But
I think comparing Mac to Trubisky is a bit harsh. I think he's a level up from Trubisky.
Really?
But I don't. He's definitely not at that elite level.
No, I mean I would say that he's comfortably. When I say mid, when I grade quarterbacks, obviously you got like your A's, which is like your Mahomes and Rodgers and Brady, and Allen, and then you've got your Bs, which is like your Lamars. I mean, he's comfortably in that CD category.
So I keep going back to this, but last year in the playoffs, when there were 8 teams left, I talked about the difference between a quarterback that can win you a game and the quarterback that you hope doesn't lose you a game.
Yeah, you mentioned this before, yeah.
Yeah, I go back to it a lot because I feel like it was a really good point I made. So
it's a point that's relevant to me and you, as we'll get on in a couple more games.
Although I don't think Mac loses you a game much, I don't feel like he's the one he can go and win you a game yet.
Yeah.
I feel like he could be, because I feel like he looks like a mini Brady with the pocket passing and everything, but I just think he makes too many mistakes at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah.
Okay, on to Gangrene losing.
Yeah. I mean, it's about time that the Bengals started playing well. I mean, they needed a whipping team. As much as I love Robert Saleh, he's a very, very underrated coach. I think he's a great defensive coordinator. He's still finding his feet in a very poor New York Jets side again for the second consecutive year. But it is about time this Super Bowl caliber team with a shoddy O-line actually started playing like they nearly won the Super Bowl last year. And Burrow looked quite good. Chase looked quite good. The usual suspects you'd expect on the Bengals team looked good. I mean, it was kind of like more the expectations, really, wasn't it? It was like you expected them to walk into New York and batter the living daylights out of them.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd had a very good game.
Yeah,
because he usually flies under the radar, but he didn't this time. I think that has something to do with T. Higgins getting injured. I hope he's okay soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree there. I don't really have much. I mean, that wasn't one I watched intensely because of just how one-sided the scores, as we'll find out when we come to maybe a little bit on the Eagles and the Washington side. But I mean, comfortable expected victory for Cincinnati.
Yes, I mean that's put very well. So while we mentioned that game, shall we move on to Washington versus?
Yes, because it's the next one up.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I have been a Carson Wentz apologist since the start of the season because I respect what he did in Philly, and I thought he got a little bit shafted in Indy, but good God, man.
What did I say? What did I say at the start of the season?
You did.
You all laughed at me. You all laughed at me. And I
said, but you still rate Jameson Winston, man. So I don't really think we can sit on the same fence here.
And I said that Carson Wentz is not good, and you all laughed at me, and you're like, Carson Wentz is going to prove you wrong.
I mean, I didn't say he proved you wrong. I just thought he was better than you said he was.
He's proved me right that he is not an NFL quarterback, and I pray they give whoever they drafted, I feel like they drafted a quarterback, a chance. Or was it Sam Howell? I think it might have been Sam Howell. Who was somebody else?
He was the one that was their permanent backup that they gave a chance to.
Taylor Heineke, somebody else that I
Heineke.
really like. I was really high on Heineke last year. They just traded, I think it was Sam Howell they drafted, somebody else I'm high on. And I think they're both better than Wentz.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, they were lucky it wasn't a shutout, to be honest, John. I mean, 2 field goals and a safety.
Yeah. I thought it was going to. Yeah, I thought it was going to be an absolute shot. But going back to the winning side that won convincingly, oh my good God, Jalen Hurts looks like another legit quarterback.
Yeah, Hurts has made the step up that he needed to make.
Yes. I'm so pleased.
And some else has made step up, Devontae Smith, because I thought he was disappointing last year.
Yeah. I mean, the connection that those two have, phenomenal. I mean, our catch of the week when we talk about on Thursday, I mean, I had him down for 2. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. But I am a Minshew maniac, I really do like Gardner Minshew. I really, really do. I think he's got a great personality. And I thought that he would potentially push Hurts to maybe get that starting job. I know, I'm agreeing, Ollie. You can shake your head all you want. I'm agreeing. Jalen Hurts has come at the start of the season and he's just absolutely blown teams away. Like, he has been phenomenal.
The Eagles look like they can make the Super Bowl this year.
100%. Definitely the NFC Championship game. I could see that.
And I made a £5 bet with my dad at the start of the season that the Cowboys wouldn't make the playoffs because I thought the Eagles would, and that's looking pretty good now.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, especially as things are slow. We've got so much more of the season left to play. I mean, there's still another 15 rounds of games. But yeah, the Eagles look really good for the NFC. They look really good.
Okay, I think that takes us onto the late games. No, it doesn't. We've still got the Saints versus the Panthers.
Yeah, a weird game.
Another London team. Winston potentially injured, Kamara potentially injured, Thomas potentially injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really pay too much attention to this game as it was going, just because there were other games that were catching my attention that I was a little bit more invested in. Did you see much?
Baker played well.
Yeah, that I heard.
But the Saints were just very poor, to be honest. Like, I don't like the Saints 14 and flat as the Saints, and the margin of victory makes it look a lot closer than it was.
Yeah. I mean, did they score most of those in the second half going into the fourth quarter?
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, you could argue then that it's a tied Panthers defense that's kind of like shutting up shop. Well, not shutting up shop, but like they're securing the win.
The only people that scored their first points later than the Saints were the Commanders.
Oof, good God, man. Yeah, no, well done for Baker Mayfield. I mean, are the Panthers still? Are they 1-2?
1-2.
All right, so that was his first victory. So, I'd still like Carolina to finish the season with a better record than Cleveland.
Yeah, well,
just for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Niners have Panthers in a couple of weeks, so they need to calm down a bit.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
I can't wait for both.
I mean, we'll restrict them to under 10 points.
Oh yeah. Well, if we do that, we'll win because we can score 10 points. Even with Jimmy G. I mean, our defense only conceded 9 last night, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Bosa to get the flag celebration back out after sacking Baker Mayfield. That is one of my favorite gifts, though.
Yeah, I remember that. I absolutely remember that. It was quality. Yes. What's next? Is it the Falcons?
No, I believe it is the Commanders. No, not Commanders. Jags versus the Bolts.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence, another quarterback that's made that step up this year.
Yes.
Their offense is clicking. I mean, again, the Chargers. Joey Bosa's gone down, hasn't he? Like
he's got a groin injury and will miss a few weeks. But the biggest loss for them is Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, ruptured bicep, out for the season. And he's a key piece of their offensive line and their run game.
I mean, he keeps.
And I mean, with Jalen Hurts not fully fit, still no Keenan Allen, they're missing a lot of key pieces of their offense, and their defense is still a bit banged up because J.C. Jackson still isn't fully fit. No Joey Bosa now. I mean, they are banged up, big time.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they've lost key personnel and they're going into quite a difficult run of fixtures coming up for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know they are in the strongest division in football.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not take anything away from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville were incredible.
I mean, I'm so happy for
James Robinson. I mean, I'm annoyed because I picked Travis Etienne in a few drafts, and then James Robinson ended up being the number 1 back. But Zay Jones, Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
I mean, they look good.
Yeah. I mean, I said in my predictions, I could see Jacksonville getting into the playoffs as a wild card.
Yes.
They look legit. I mean, Doug Pearson's he's taken the worst team in football and he's made them better. That's what good coaches do. They work out the weaknesses and maximize the strengths. And he's figured out how to get the ball from Trevor Lawrence into the hands of his receivers or the running backs and score points. And they are scoring a lot of points.
Yes. NFC West. Rams,
Yes.
Cardinals.
Two teams I can't care about, but we'll talk about them anyway for neutrality purposes. Yeah,
I didn't really watch this game. Cooper Cup played okay.
Matt Stafford played okay.
Yeah, I mean, Rams won. Cooper Cup scored a touchdown. Cardinals look like the Cardinals. Kyler Murray running around in the backfield like a headless chicken. Also, I'm not. Did you know that when Call of Duty has a double XP weekend, Kyler Murray has some stupid losing record.
Really?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
I mean,
that's. Sorry, just looking at his stats for a second. Stafford, 18 completions from 25 attempts. He passed for 249 yards, no touchdowns, but Akers got a touchdown. Cup got a touchdown.
Yeah, Cooper Cup got his first rushing touchdown of his career.
Yep. I mean, it'll be interesting next week when San Fran play that Rams side on Monday.
Yeah. If we show up, we could win that game. The Rams are a beatable team this year.
Well, we beat them twice last year. It's.
I mean, beating the Rams last year kickstarts our season.
It did. I mean,
and it was also prime time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into it kickstarting our season because I have a couple of detractors for that and how I don't think it will apply the same for this year. But yeah, should we go on to Bucks Packs?
Yeah. Tom Brady. First off, what was that shirt, Tom Brady?
Oh my good God! What greatness lasts forever?
Something like that.
I mean, it was his yearbook quote, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
was greatness never dies?
Sorry, what?
Greatness never dies.
Great, yes, something cringy like that. I'm not going to go through the oceans of text messages that we send each other. Yeah, it was one of those T-shirts that once you saw it on national TV, you knew Green Bay were going to win.
Yeah,
like it was just one of those T-shirts. So it wasn't like a threat. It was kind of like we're asking for our asses to be handed to us.
Yes.
And it was a fairly nothing game. Like I didn't think it was that good of a game, considering this is probably, let's say that now, the last time we'll probably ever see Rodgers versus Brady.
It could have been, John, actually. It could have. Was the T-shirt a sly dig at Rodgers?
I don't know. What would have Rodgers gotten out of that other than the victory that I think he cares more about? Yeah, like, is there some kind of beef that we don't know between Brady and Rodgers?
Yeah, I don't know. It now means that in the 5 meetings, Brady's only 3-2 up.
Oh, it's 3-3 now. So
no, it's 3-2 now.
Oh, it's 3-2 now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 3-1 before. But yeah, you're right. It was a bit of a nothing game. 14-12. Not much happened. Romeo Dobbs scored a touchdown. Good for him. Rookie.
I mean, both teams are banged up as well. I mean, Rodgers doesn't really have a passing game, and the Bucks had key personnel missing. But I still expected a shootout. Like, I really, really did. I mean, it ended up just being a very game management affair.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, I'm genuinely surprised that it was as low as it was. But, you know, Rodgers is doing his last dance 3.0 because he's trying to drag the Packers to a Super Bowl before he decides that he's going to ride off into the sunset. If Aaron wins the Super Bowl this year, Do you think he retires this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with.
Because I think if they don't, he'll keep going.
Yeah. I think Brady retires this year no matter what.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On to the first pick toilet bowl thing that happened in Seattle.
The
27-23 game that nobody actually cared about.
I completely forgot it happened until you put it on the bottom. Just before we went on air, about looking at the game, I looked at the scores and going, "Oh, I must have looked at all the NFL scores all day, and I completely forgot still that the Falcons played the Seahawks in the Bird Bowl."
Mariota's had a good game.
Yeah, again, a very mid quarterback.
Yeah, it was nice to see Kyle Pitts actually get some catches this week.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Pitts is too good for Atlanta. Like he
Yeah,
is
well,
way too good.
Yeah, Drake London is still looking like he could win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I traded for him on. No, actually, that's a lie. On Madden 22, I drafted him for the 49ers as one of my wideouts. And I use him for kick returns. He's brilliant. I absolutely love him. Madden 22, not 23. But yeah,
I had Madden 23. It's good.
Well, because when you do like the draft, you can you can get like the fan made one. So I did the one for this year, and I drafted for the 49ers Aiden Hutchinson because I had a load of first round picks. And,
John just kind of saying Mariota, if only had a QB who could rush, could have got a 2-point conversion. Yeah, John.
But the Falcons used to have a quarterback that could rush, and then he ended up doing something involving dogfighting.
What?
Michael Vick.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that was a long time ago.
Sorry, that's a bit before my time.
Sorry, Ollie. So there's a quarterback called Michael Vick, and he used to be a really good quarterback.
I'm aware of who Michael Vick is, but I just
so was a lot of dogs.
When Michael Vick was playing, I wasn't really looking into anything past them playing.
Okay.
I'm only 24, Phil.
I'm literally only 31, so it's not even like there's like a generation between us.
Yeah, so it's not like Oli.
That's very true. That's very true. He actually remembers when the Patriots drafted Drew Bledsoe. Like he remembers what the Patriots were like before they started winning.
Yeah.
Not good, I think it was the answer.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they are now.
Yeah. Anyway, onto the game that we don't want to talk about.
Right. Do you want to say your bit before I do my Stephen A. Smith rant?
No, I'll let you go first.
All right.
Everyone get out the popcorn.
Okay. All right. This is almost like a weekly rant for me involving my 49ers. So I'm going to start off by telling a story. Okay. And this is a shout out to all my all the Worcester Royals players that played with me over the course of the 3 years I was there. When I joined as a fresher, we had a quarterback, and he'd been playing with the team 2 years prior. And the previous season, he won one game, and apparently he played really well in that one game. But that quarterback was an absolute cretin. Like, we absolutely hated him. He was not particularly nice. He wasn't particularly good, and we had zero respect for him. But this was the quarterback that we were told would win us games. Okay? Spoiler alert, Ollie. That first season that I had in Worcester, we won one game, and he was the worst player on that team. But we were told he was our guy, and we had to play for that guy. Now, if you were in a position where I was on defense and we're getting our asses handed to us, and our offense is not moving the ball at all, and the reason for why the offense is not moving the ball is because we have a quarterback that we don't respect, that we don't like, but we're told that we have to follow, right? And we're losing games. How this applies to how I feel about the 49ers is that I always remember back, and it's been bothering me since he said this, Julian Edelman a couple of months ago. Now, do you remember what he said about Jimmy Garoppolo?
He called him a little bitch, didn't he?
He called him a little bitch, okay? Yeah. He said that Jimmy Garoppolo would go missing during the offseason, and when he played, he never pushed himself. He literally did what he did, and that was it. and the team had no respect for him. Like if he played like he wouldn't. When I say played hurt, I'm not saying like he played with a broken leg, but like if he got bruised or he wasn't feeling right, that was his excuse to not play. And Edelman, coming off the back of Tom Brady, who would drag teams through kicking and screaming, he hated Garoppolo, hated him, hated playing with him because he had no respect because he never thought that he played for the team. Point that I'm making, Jimmy Garoppolo, last week after he came into the team, said it was like riding a bike again, back into the motion of playing for the 49ers. This week's excuse, after playing horrifically badly, said he needed more time on the playbook. He needed more time with the team. This is his team. These are the players that, off the record, vouched for him and off the record said that they preferred Jimmy over Trey Lance. I'm 100% convinced Deebo Samuel did not want a Jimmy Garoppolo refusing to pass the ball to him when he's massively open. This is not the team that Fred Warner or Bosa or even like Jordan Willis or any of like our defense are playing for, because I'm pretty sure Fred Warner does not want to be on the pitch for about 55 minutes of a 60-minute game. Jimmy Garoppolo is an appalling starting quarterback. And this is before I even go into the fact that he got a safety and a pick six on the same drive.
Same play.
The exact same play. Now, I mean, we only had the safety against us, but he was horrifically bad. Horrifically bad. And if this was Trey Lance, and if Trey Lance didn't get injured and he did this week, he would have been absolutely rinsed by all the NFL media. But for some reason, Jimmy Garoppolo gets a free pass. He is going to not win us a championship, but he will be the reason why we lose a championship.
Okay, devil's advocate. It's one game. Garoppolo.
He's had 5 years of just playing the same game, Ollie. Like, this isn't just a one-off. This is like, he's not like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo has won the 49ers 5 Super Bowls. He's allowed one bad game. This is 5 years of bad games.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate. You okay?
Sorry. I won't interrupt again. I'll shut up.
He's not had the playbook for long. I know. I'm putting this down to the fact that we have some sort of mental capacity that we just can't beat Russell Wilson. That's what I'm putting this down to.
But we beat Russell Wilson. That's the thing. Like, our defense only allowed 9 points.
Yeah, but we lost.
We scored 10 and we still lost. They only scored 9 points on our defense. It has nothing to do with Fred Warner and the defense.
Oh, I'm not blaming the defense.
Yeah.
I do not blame the defense. I was watching the highlights and I said to my dad, man, I feel sorry for this defense.
Yeah.
Because our defense at the moment is playing lights out.
Yeah.
For 2.5 games.
Our defense
out
Seattle.
For 2.5 games has played really well.
Yeah, exceptionally well.
The half against Chicago, monsoon. Let's just put that out our heads.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Jimmy it wasn't just Jimmy. Yes, I think Jimmy is the reason for the loss. But we also didn't really get a run game going.
No. Well, he didn't run the ball, did he? I mean, last year, we said earlier, and I'm going to bring this point up again. Our game against the Rams, our first game against the Rams, really kickstarted our career because that's when we decided to invent the position, the wide back.
Yes.
I think if we even attempted the same plays with Deebo this year, defenses have sussed it out. They would have sussed it out. I mean, as talented as Deebo is, they've sussed that play out. They massively have. So we're going to have to put that to the side. Our run game, going back onto this, Jimmy Garoppolo is one of 32 players to play at the highest elitist footballing position. Like, he is one of 32 on the planet. Out of the 8 billion people that live on planet Earth, he is one of 32. So I'm really struggling to buy he only just got the playbook. He knows this team. This is his, these are, Kittle vouched for him. Deebo vouched for him. Juice vouches for him. This offense vouches for him. So even if he makes the basic plays, these are players that apparently want him. They want him behind the wheel. They want him at the engine. and he can't throw further than 10. Like, watching him go through his progression and not give the ball to Debo, who is like, if you watch the replay, Debo is massively wide open.
There's 3 times when Debo is open and he doesn't throw it to him.
Exactly,
And
this is the
isn't
worst
just
of Kyle Kaepernick play.
This isn't Debo being slightly open. This is Debo being open. If he catches it, it will be a touchdown open.
Yeah, and I mean, I texted you earlier. Our third down conversions was 1
for
1
11.
for 10. It was 11. I thought it was 1 for 10.
1 for 10, 1 for 11. It was about that.
Either way, that is poor for a player who is one of the media darlings of the NFL. You know, like, we should be starting Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo turned in that performance. This is before even the safety and the interception that came with it.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Nick Bosa. I feel sorry for Fred Warner. I feel sorry for Mooney Ward. I feel sorry for D'Amico Ryan.
Yes. And I mean, I'm a massive fan of Grant Cohn anyway. I do. I mean, he's a very, if you follow like 49ers Twitter, he is a very controversial figure, because what I like about him as opposed to other NFL journalists is that he is not afraid to be hated by players, because he will ask them questions that they're not expecting, because he's looking for an answer that isn't like your normal copy and paste answer that they give to all of them.
Two things. Number one, yes, they are in the toughest division in the NFL, but they're going to finish bottom of that division, John. And 2, I lost respect for Grant Cohn after that whole Kindle thing in the off season.
All right, yes, but he still is right with a lot of his hot takes. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo has had 5 years with this team, and he's cost us multiple his opportunities. He's not a team player. I mean, we can talk about like his restricted contract that he had this offseason, but he wasn't expecting to play. Like,
if anything, you'd think he'd want to win more, because he gets 350. He gets an extra 100 grand 150 grand if we win.
Yeah. So I mean, this is going back to Julian Edelman's. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a team player. Nice guy, not a team player. And his performance is making me hate Kyle Shanahan more. And it sounds really daft.
You want Shanahan sacked?
Jimmy's given him.
You want Shanahan sacked, don't you?
I think our next head coach wins the Super Bowl with this roster. I don't even dislike Shanahan, but like, he looks, acts, presents himself as someone that doesn't want to be in San Francisco anymore.
Who is our next head coach?
All right. 2 options. Hear me out. Sean Payton seems to be the popular one, but I think that time has come. I don't think we'll go for him. I'd try and get Mike McDaniels back.
I don't think he'd come back.
I think he would come back.
Bieniemy?
I just think for an offensively minded head coach genius, we aren't doing the basics and we're not winning. And if he was as great as everyone says he is, and I'm not saying he's not, but our third down conversion rate wouldn't be poor. Our red zone conversion rate wouldn't be poor. And we'd be beating teams a lot higher than we actually are. And that's it. I think when we play, who's our next opponent? Is it
Rams,
and then we play Carolina. What happens if we go 1-4? If Lance is out and Jimmy isn't performing, who's your starting? It'll probably be Purdy.
If we keep losing, I would give Purdy a go.
I mean, I can honestly see that after the Carolina game, we have a losing record. And it's a losing record that's inflicted by our inability to score. I'm not trying to be controversial. I genuinely think this is the end of the Shanahan era.
So hear me out. Next 3 games. Rams at home, at Carolina, at Atlanta. If we're not 3-3 by then, we need to do something.
Yeah.
3-3 minimum. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So Giants and Cowboys are coming off pretty impressive weeks. They both performed well. Giants look like they're really good. Cowboys don't look like they're missing Dak. I was thinking like who I'm going to pull from here. The 49ers fan of me thinks Dallas should burn. And I'll never pull the. The two teams that 49ers fans hate.
I don't rate Cooper Rush. I don't. I think Cooper Rush is a below average quarterback. I mean, so is Danny Dimes. But I'm going to pull for the Giants and say they win in a 21-17 close game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I just don't see Cooper. I know Cooper Rush is 2-0 as a starter, but I just think he has to lose at some point because he's not that good.
No. And the Dallas Cowboys defense is good. Their offense is misfiring because they don't potentially have as many outlets as they would like. And they can be quite one-dimensional. But their defense is really good.
I would like to put a pro forma in this.
Go on.
And that is that I think Micah Parsons is going to eat Daniel Jones alive.
Yeah, 100%. It's like Hunt is so good. He is so good as an outside linebacker. He's scarily good.
So
Cowboys looked good last week at the start, but hanging on at the end. Giants run game looked good. Yeah, their run game is unstoppable.
Who do you fancy tonight? Because I'm going Giants.
I'm going to go Giants. But their run game will win them. Like, their run game will win that battle.
Yes. It sort of slightly warms my heart to see Saquon looking healthy.
Yes. I quite like that. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Giants need to sort out this whole Golladay situation.
What do you think they're going to do?
Trade him or cut him. Trade him or cut him. There seems to be some issue with trade. Fourth rounder.
Okay.
What do you think? They clearly want him out, so I'd lowball them.
I mean, we've clearly wanted Jimmy Garoppolo out, and nobody was taking him. So the trade market's really weird. I think there's more trade in defense at the moment than there is in offensive weapons. A third round at a push.
Yeah, but my point is, they clearly want Golladay out, so I'd lowball them with an offer. Whereas I feel like people did try and lowball us with Jimmy Garoppolo, but just we weren't taking the lowball bait.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff came about Washington. We already knew that. I don't know why everyone was up in arms about that. I knew about that weeks ago when it was in February.
Yeah, and ESPN are favouring New York to win tonight as well.
Yes,
As I've just had a look.
we've both tipped the Giants. That probably means the Cowboys will run away with it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Phil, I think we've yammered on for long enough for tonight.
We have, and I apologise to any of our non-49ers fans who tuned in thinking that we wouldn't talk about the 49ers in as grave detail as we have, but no, it's been enjoyable, Ollie. It's actually been really, really nice.
Yes.
To have a chat and shoot the breeze.
It's been a pleasure, Phil.
Thank you. Oh, what's this? What about taking Cam Newton for you guys? Cam Newton is done.
I'd rather keep Jimmy.
I'd rather see if Ryan Fitzpatrick wants to come out of retirement, to be fair.
Yeah.
Anyway. We'll try to guard him into.
Yeah. Anyway, Phil, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. We'll see each other on Thursday with the rest of the gang.
All that's left to say, as Ollie's not here, is stay safe.